Hi, this presentation is about meeting and booming innovations, learning about who and what we are. Our business cycle is basically an introduction. So we are just approaching the market in our soft launch this January. I'm located here in Vancouver, BC, and Jericho with teammates all over. And let's now go to the next slide, which is figuring out what does our name mean. Our language, or I guess the name comes from a Nigerian language. Bu means is or to be. Translate to good or beautiful. So together we have I'm good, I'm beautiful, it is well with me. So for me, it came across as very, very peaceful, which is quite I appreciate a lot. Our vision and mission. So we are kind, we are innovative people in technology. Our mission is to empower individuals through financial wellness and to educate about safe and unsafe platforms. This is sort of the backbone of perhaps a financial literacy gap. And our vision is to create a safe and an equal access to individuals who want to accelerate their goals, aspirations, and dreams. So those things is a very big driver because with financial means we can access more things. So the problem is that there's a lack of legitimate, monthly companies, monthly RI automated companies. So in Canada, this has cost us 309 million in 2023. This is around investment fraud, and the United States, of course, with the larger population, you're going to have a bigger number. So that's 5.6 billion in the same year. This is quite high, and this is a very big problem. So our solution is to basically be legitimate, be transparent, be authentic in the process of what we say we can achieve. We are an automated monthly RI platform. This is really, really based on historicals. So this right now, the average bot is our leading bot. We have multiple is 15.58%. The month before it was 17 something. The previous month it was 18%, and then the month before it should have been about 10. So we do have these numbers to sort of justify what we're saying. That doesn't mean that is how it will always perform. So if we see one start to dip, we can always sort of pivot to another one. The other bot is about 11%, 11.48, I think. So we have, I believe, about four that are running right now. So what motivated me to do this is in the history of spring 2022. Basically, I was invited to a platform that was just not legitimate. I had my suspicions about it, did research, removed my money, and basically not too long after, there was a rug pull, which is basically when they kind of disappear, they take your money and they walk away. So there's just sort of two things that I could, quickly find. One is Reddit. One is from, I guess, like a blog that's very dedicated to this space. So there's quite a bit of, if you go into it, they have more than one page just about this company and some details on them. Okay, so our platform is for consumers, just the everyday person that wants to achieve their goals, and for financial goals, and for businesses. So for businesses, basically what we really have to, pilot and get feedback on is that businesses can basically use us as a way for their staff to invest in Boomi, as a form of attracting talent to, I would say, increase their, hold on a second. Yeah. So it can basically either be like a pension investment or just completely investment. Pension is probably going to be, that language would be attractive to probably different audiences later down the road, but perhaps just an investment, a platform that they can use in which the business earns a piece of what we earned for having their staff sign up. So it's a way to, I prefer B2B SaaS models. Consumers is very important because there is a lot of people who will benefit from this. And, we really want to consider a low risk approach. That's very important. We also have, I believe, 5 to 15% of their total balance of what they can invest. We use Coinbase, so I'll go into compliance and those things later. So let's just continue about the problem. Okay, so yeah, so we aim to reduce crypto fraud by providing legitimate crypto investing opportunities. So, globally, this is 5 trillion. So that was quite big that I learned. Thank you to the professor. And then the service available market, and then the obtainable market. So it's just sort of narrowing down what you can basically achieve out of the total problem with the right sort of, I would say, resources behind it. Our competitors, so there is quite a bit perhaps of small startups, let's say. These ones are more established in the market, so indirectly, Three Commas, Crypto Hopper, Shrimpy, I think they all provide tools for trading, but you have to do your back testing, you have to develop your strategy, like you have to become the developer on a non-coding platform in order for it to basically work. The other competitors would be like they have trading, but there's no automation whatsoever. Um, is Coinbase, Robinhood, which you may have heard of, and then eToro. So, but none of these can say. I guess we'll go into what's different, how we're different soon. So, our strategic objectives is to expand adoption. That's very important through freemium. I think from business model perspective as well, it's going to be better for us to sort of increase the audience, learn what the average wallet size is, which is basically the amount that they're investing, and what type of visas we're investing. The average wallet size is really our North Star metric. So yeah, that's quite important. But that's not something that we're pushing for, but it's a number that we'll have to pay attention to. And then partnering with influencers and investment communities, those that are already looking for opportunities like this, and then micro influencers between 10 to 50K followers. I think also with this is to establish credibility and social proof. And then, of course, following regulatory standards. So that has been super important. In Canada, you have the CSA. You also have Cairo, which is formerly IROC. So those two. And then you have FinTrack, you have MSB, and then there's a new one. So Canada has a lot. In all, it really adds up to about $150,000 probably is what you're looking at. IROC has, there's a few fees, about 25, 30,000. If you're curious, I can send them to you. Um, and yeah, so different countries have different regulations, different costs. Some have crypto license fees, some don't. Some have, different definitions between, if you're what we'd be classified as like, perhaps like a broker or a dealer. So there's different fees and sort of different sort of positions on them, and some are quite sort of stringent, and some are quite behind. So I believe it's the FCA in the UK. They're about 50K thousand. USA, which is quite lenient. Like actually, like from what we found, it's not that bad. It's actually only 30,000, and you'd be registering with the FNRA. And there's another body. I should know it. I forgot. It's like 3 words. It'll come back to me later. But yeah, so there's another body. SEC. There we go. SEC. So that's another body that you have to register with. But considering the market for USA, it's a very good sort of when the product is maybe 1 year, 2, that's a good market to want to tackle. And maximize return of investments with the proven trading bot strategy, achieving an average monthly of about 15%. So that's the leading bot that we have right now. And then we always kind of work on the average. So 1 month it's a little bit higher, 1 month it's a little bit lower, and then our average is this amount. And we don't always expect that to be the same. I think, to be honest, anything higher than 5% a month is doing more than great. Yeah, we know how to make it higher, but I'm like, I think we're good. I think this will be sort of probably shocking enough, because it is quite high, to be honest. What makes us different is that, yeah, we have the automated monthly 15% ROI. So out of all those competitors, I can't say that we can give you some form of monthly return, whether that's 2%, 1%, 18%. They're not able to, that's just not part of their business model. Um, And because of that, they can't really tie that to success or to win rate. If you're curious about these stats, we do have them in Excel sheet, so you can also see the definitions of them as well. We do have like average trades per week. So this one, like the 15% one, is about three. I think the average trades a month is probably around 12. And there's a few stats that we just sort of want to capture. What makes us different as well is the HR staff investment package. Yeah, so business earned profits from a Boomi pension or investment. So I think that language will sort of determine on who we're probably speaking with. To staff increasing morale and talent, just basically attracting talent, saying, hey, you care about me, you want to invest in me. I want to stay here more because I'm able to access this. And perhaps there's more they have to discover there that would make it different for why they would get it from the business and just sort of going independently with us. The other thing, of course, that we're legitimate and no deposits. So yeah, that's a very big feature, is that we don't want to have to deal with ethical hackers gone wrong, basically, and wanting to sort of try to pull anything. They would have to try to get that through Coinbase. So there's different I'll just sort of explain it, API keys that we collect. And they can provide up to three. We only need two. Two basically allows us to only increase your balance. We can't actually withdraw. We can only increase. We can only trade internally in Coinbase and say, hey, we've just made you more money. If we get three keys from Coinbase, API keys, that basically means that we can do like a full-on withdrawal and a full-on deposit and exchange, and we don't need to do that. We don't promote that. That's not the language and that's not the instructions. So one of the things that we actually have in our sign up steps is that they can actually reach out to Coinbase based on the instruction that we provided to verify that we do not have access to their money, since that we cannot withdraw it. So no matter what happens to Boomi, we cannot withdraw your money in that sense. So anyone with the API keys cannot withdraw your money. Like that is a big feature that I really want to maximize on. So for me, that's a huge peace of mind. So I hope to other investors that it would be as well, that we cannot touch that. ESG sustainability thinking. So Bimima is committed to long growth by avoiding high risk trading strategies. I can touch on this a bit. Each country is going to have their own trading, what they allow to trade as a strategy, and each exchange does as well. So there's a bit of research on that folks have to do, but we definitely don't want to, we definitely avoid high risk. So how we did that is when they deposit funds into Coinbase, we don't ask it to be when they have to sort of turn their money into like a crypto or something, in terms of what is the balance kept in, it's actually kept in USD. So USD as a currency is quite stable. And then we trade in cryptocurrency because cryptocurrency just simply moves faster. So what you'll see is a currency and then these crypto sort of trading. So that's quite helpful. And then educating users on sustainable crypto investments. So I think that's probably tied also with our financial literacy. And then the other third is that we haven't really seen much of an appetite or interest in from users, is that they can actually carbon offset, that we can help support them, their costs and their carbon offsetting. So there are platforms that we can sort of partner with, or we can just directly do tree planting through another partner that we've had conversations in the past for. Like that's really kind of part of our models, that and crypto is quite heavy in the environment as well. So regardless if users aren't super excited about it, or that's it's not their why for coming here, we can still do that. I think I'm a little bit more interested in, instead of just trees, maybe you're helping the coral reefs, maybe there's like an Amazon jungle out there. So I think there's quite a bit that can sort of go beyond just that in terms of environmental support and help. I'm just going to explain our revenue model. So PayPal is at the top because, as you know, we cannot withdraw from people's accounts. So we actually have to invoice them on a monthly basis. So this is monthly pricing. They can cancel anytime, low risk, USD currency, monthly returns, and no deposits. That I actually explains breakdown. That's okay. I'll just sort of give it to you. So here we have, I guess, least expensive, to Evolux, most expensive. So Easy is really either for people who actually generally don't, who are, very sort of paycheck to paycheck, or it's people that just probably don't believe in the system. And the reason why I say that is that there's no monthly fee, there's no balance fee, there's a one-time cost, which is really just covering the KYC, AML, and that sort of check. And they invest, up to $99, minimum of $15. Um, so here, get to see the monthly returns, no deposits, they no PayPal voices, custom insights, trading alerts. And so that so it's called Easy just to help make it accessible. I think that's one of our things that we care about. Essential, there's a 2 monthly balance fee, monthly fee, sorry, and then there's a 1.5 balance fee, and there's a one-time cost. So they'll have a monthly fixed fee in USD. The 1.5 balance fee is also in USD. The one-time cost is to help, create some predictability with the monthly fee, the fixed US, $2, $5, $10, because we can't actually determine the balance, the percentage balance fee yet, because we haven't yet launched an in market, more mature, let's say 3 or 4 or 5 year, or more, to figure out what is that average wallet size. So if people are coming, 500 to, let's say, 9,000, that's like, the hot sort of bracket that we're seeing, or something, maybe 7,000, then we can sort of figure out what that balance fee would actually be. But we're creating these monthly fees and these one-time costs, in order to sort of, I guess, of course, like help, startup operations, but to create some predictability, because we don't have those numbers yet. And we're not expecting, whales to sort of, show up. So here the investment range is in the middle with the blue heart. The one-time cost is about, like, 10% of what they're investing. We're in market range between, I think it's like 0.2 to 2% of the balance fee. That can be a monthly or quarterly. I think it depends by org, but we're in the right sort of zone there at 1.5. Yeah, so this is our pricing. Now I'm just going to move over to SWOT. So what is our strengths? We have yes, we do have a high ROI. We do. Anything past 7% is going to be like even 5, is quite high. Very high, maybe even 1 per month. Automated, and hands-free system. I think there is systems out there that will maybe send signals, but people don't, at least I don't have time to sit and wait for a signal and then to sort of log in and to sort of do all that. So it's automated. Regulation adherence, I think that is very important for us, and something that we appeal to. Weakness, still in the introductory phase, so we don't really have 100 customer reviews yet. We haven't established pilot partners, like 110%. We're still sort of in those discussion conversations, and they're actually really waiting to join, but we really want to have a very good user experience. And we're very dependent on credibility building. So, we don't mind a soft launch, and, really making sure that the user experience is quite good. I can also say that we do have notification emails that go out. So, with compliance, we actually have part of the Canadians where, I'm not sure if you're ever on, like, Binance in Ontario, or someone that or Coinbase or Kraken, but as Canadian regulations, probably from CSA, is that they require specific questions. So we copy that question. So we basically figure out how many years have you invested, what is your your total assets worth, and there's another financial, like 1 or 2 more. But anyhow, and then so aside from that, from credibility, after your 2 weeks of signing up, we then send an email out, to basically ask to do a Trustpilot review. And I think having those sort of, growing our numbers slowly, is very good for us right now. Opportunities as growing demand for secure crypto solutions and partnerships with influencers. So influencers are looking for brands to approach them, and to basically make money from it. So we do have that on a commission model, and then crypto solutions, especially particularly that are automated. I haven't yet to hear one. So that's why Boomi is here. Threats. Let's talk about that. So intense competition, for sure. So there's a lot of, probably small pockets that, just haven't really reached it, or they kept it private to themselves. A family member asked me, if they can make X amount in a week. So I told them a number. They asked me why, and I keep it. And I'm like, I figure there's other people that would like to, have support in their goals. So tense competition is there. Interest rates and inflation. So, basically, job security, not to mention the pricing of food and, just things going up. It is sort of, position, readjusting the way people think about their money, which could then mean that they want to invest less or maybe even not invest in Boomi, or change your investment strategy. That means that, the average wallet size decreases, during, recession. And then regulatory uncertainty. So I think, like Turkey, for example, is one country where it's, I think Jordan, where they're kind of, they allow crypto. It's not quite sort of, it's not robust in the policies or the compliance, but that is sort of developing. So, for example, actually, here's a good one in Europe, EU, Europe. It's called DORA. So DORA is a compliant, sort of new regulation for financial technology companies that they have to be basically, they have to adhere to. I believe it's like early January. We're not looking to the EU just yet, but we do have countries mapped, so we would have to adhere to that before we would go there. Resources and capital. So, disclaimer, I just work for the federal government. So this is all sort of self-funded by me. So there isn't any external capital yet. I think for loans, you'd want to be, at least 10K monthly recurring revenue. And then I think for investors are probably around the same ballpark. Maybe an angel would step in, but that's, Boomi has a potential and the capacity to be self-funded, whether it's external, just self-funded. So I'm not too worried about that. I think if it's called product-led growth, which means that the users tell other customers. I think, a very good example of that is maybe 10-15 years ago. You heard of Netflix, and someone just dropped the URL and said, they sort of copy and paste it and send it to you and say, sort of join this sort of thing. So you can look at product-led growth, but that's part of our approach for sure, which is really on basically having a very strong value proposition, and product in the market that users are not able to get anywhere else. Okay, so here's what's tangible is accessible, beta platform. We're really just really smoothing the user experience. There is also a 10K per month Google Ad grant. I think which is it's really meant for nonprofits, which we can either directly be or nonprofit arm. So that will help us as well. And I'm in no rush for that because I like the idea of sort of starting where you are and just sort of growing slowly. And then when we have enough sort of social proof, internal users, activity, then approaching Google Ads and then start doing some testing, right? Because then we've probably learned about a thing or two about our users. And then working bots, yes. Right now we have to really prove ourselves, right? That we are a trusted team, and yes, we don't have a growing customer base. If you see anything else, happy to hear about this as well. Okay, so our 2025 roadmap. So right now, for the past 3 weeks, we've been inviting really like previous teammates who have helped us in the past build this to actually join and try it out. So we've been recording their user experiences, and then they've been sending us feedback around a certain button didn't do exactly what they expected it to do. The UI might be very clean and simple, but there is some very sort of specific behavior. For example, let's say January, and if they want to click on the word January, if we only programmed, let's say J to be clicked because we think that J is let's say is closest to where like the next button is, that they would then click just that J, but they're actually clicking the whole, like, let's say they're clicking Y. So there's, maybe that wasn't the best example, but there's very, very small sort of differences that we're sort of finding, which is great. Some people want to skip things, some people are like, explain this. So we're just sort of going through that beta testing right now, before we actually take it to what I will share next, which will be our connections that we have. So that's where we are right now. Finalize that in November, and then showing it to some strategic partners, let's sort of say. And then offering a freemium period for early adopters. This is specifically within the country that we register in. I think on the Google ad, really sort of depending on when we choose to start that, but we would then sort of apply for that. And then we have the team. So I'll explain that. I'll explain that in a bit. And then we're really targeting probably Singapore and Malaysia. It's very crypto friendly. Singapore is the capital. They have policies, and yeah. So I think it's so far it's looking perhaps Malaysia first. Okay, and then April. So yeah, collaborate with influencers to increase credibility and visibility. It's really about building credibility and getting sort of reviews, building trust. Those things are very important, especially in this space. August, even more so, forming strategic partnerships. We're looking to sort of grow our reach really at this point. And then October, we're really doing an historical sort of, data review to then strategize. Okay, so who has joined? What is the average wallet size? How are people finding out about us? What market channels are working? And then really figuring out, okay, like these are the early adopters, and then discovering how to sort of move on to, what I'm going to say, like larger accounts, larger wallets, and then really basically the next marketing segment. So I can always feel free to ask questions, but there's different market segments that we have to basically target. And here's our relationship. So we do have connections for free beta testing, access up to 500 users. There's just about 3 groups, and those are pretty soft. So so we're just sort of playing that light, and then using, their feedback as well, and then really building partnerships in the new country that we register with. So technology and governance risk. So technology usage is the advanced trading algorithms proven in beta testing. Yes. Yes, so that is very important. Secure platforms with built-in compliance and cybersecurity features. I went over the API keys. I've talked about how Coinbase has, that safety measure that allows us to only actually build users' accounts and not to withdraw at all. That is super important. We do not have any type of technical capacity whatsoever, and then to adopt to Coinbase for users to deposit money to protect their funds. So basically, no money's deposited on us. There's no MetaMask wallet. There's no built-in wallet whatsoever. And then, they can just deposit on Coinbase. Coinbase is more than secure, and we just have those API keys, which I definitely appreciate. Governance and risk issues, adhere strictly to regulations minimizing risk for users. I think that's always going to be an ongoing priority for us, and to discover ways. For sure. So one would be, let's say by accident, if they provide us the 3 API error keys, or those three keys instead of 2. If like for us, like a next step would be for us to determine if we could determine that they did provide us those 3 keys by accident, so then we can send them back an error. So if there's a way for us to check that without actually doing any type of withdrawal, that would be sort of, a next sort of security step that we would do. Because right now, anyhow, implements robust cybersecurity measures to prevent frauds and hacks. So right now we have a very secure platform. It's about the same security as Netflix has. It just so happens it's very sort of, I would say, developer friendly, and we've gotten cybersecurity reviews in the past of what needs to do. So I think one of the newest sort of things that we have to do is masking their data, any personal identifying information. So we don't have like their customer ID. I think there's one part where it shows like their email address on the personal profile. So, that would be a PI. So things like that we have to, if you ever logged into an app and you see like star, 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 you don't get your last, everyone probably had this, your last 5 or 4 digits of your, Visa debit card or your Visa, right? Those are things that are masking measures. Yeah, so we're constantly doing that. Compliance plans. Okie dokie. So continues in Coinbase Exchange with global security, safety, and compliance features. Right now, all the target countries that we have between Southeast Asia, Europe, and of course North America, they're there. And in good standing, not every exchange is. Like Gemini, they have to actually withdraw from Canada. So they're withdrawing. They were approaching the CSA. I don't know for how long, at least 6 months, and they're now withdrawing. This December, so they didn't actually pass our compliance. Continue, but Coinbase did. And if you know Kraken's not CSA, so they're not a regulated exchange. I don't know how they're operating in Canada. Anyways, continue using SubSub for international KYC and AML compliance standards. So that link is SubSub. They're very, very good. They might sound silly. The AML is anti-money laundering and KYC checks. So it does live video cam. So you can actually, so you have to like hold the phone, look at your thing, look at your face, show your face. Upload your ID. So it's doing checks, I guess, against some sort of directory to making sure that you're in good standing to, join a platform, that you don't have any outstanding, I don't want to say warrants, but something like that against you. Continue no direct access to funds is available to Boomi developers and no system deposit. So that is super important to us. We don't need it. We don't want it. Continue using payments process through ChargeMe PayPal. So ChargeMe is a platform that manages the subscriptions for us, and then PayPal is, the little button that checks out to Boomi's PayPal page, which you pay out that amount basically. Under development, adherence to SOC 2 compliance. So the platform is built to be SOC 2 compliance, and we have there's a specific sort of guidance that we have through the platform. It's called trustcloud.ai. So that is super helpful. Next is that we can continue schedule checks to solve security gaps from new features developed. So each week, after everything new features are developed, we're constantly checking against our security. There's more than one tools, way more than one tool for each sort of technical system, to make sure that it is still where it was before, if not better. So we're constantly doing that, especially as new features get developed. So continue internal security training program, which is really just like sources online. We're just sort of using YouTube for now. Something that this doesn't have is that we have different levels of, I would say, clearance. So we have clearance level 1, clearance level 2, and level 3, and those 3 gives you access to different credentials. So level 1 is really, think of it like social media. It's going to be like our Instagram. It's going to be like our Facebook. Nothing technical whatsoever. It's going to be your email account. Very, very simple. Level 2 is, which is like where 90% of the people will be join Boomi. Level 2 is going to be the developers. So they have access to the bots, I should say. They have access to the interface, because what you saw on that dashboard was basically the visualization of Coinbase, right? We're basically saying, this is your account in Coinbase. Okay, $50 here. What do you want to do with that $50? Okay, you want to, increase your, I don't know, you want to get a guitar, something like that, just as a secondhand guitar. So then we basically say, okay, create your goal. Okay, great. And then the bot keeps working with Coinbase, and then we use the API to basically show the dashboard of your goal being updated, because your Coinbase goal is being updated. I hope that was not too much. But yeah, so we have different clearances. So and there's only there's only 3 of us that have access to the bot. So right now, any new developers, they can just have access to the interface, unless someone decides to move on their career, and I'm like, okay, and they have to train you to then learn how to work the bot. But right now we're pretty good. Continue internal security. On level 3 is like any financial data, which would really be like the auditors or the financial company. Yeah. Continue internal security. Yeah. And then Boomi Bot has completed live testing for plus 3 months. So in January, we're going to be 6 months of live testing plus 3 months of back testing. We, from January, 6 months more, once we're about a year old, plus those 3 months of back testing, then we can be a bit more louder as we grow and learn with our users. That's why we're aiming for that soft launch, right? And to really, ensure financial compliance and, of course, product reliability. We still want to maintain that. And then the next is compliance plans, which is what we're really in the middle of as well, which is contacting government regulatory bodies based on our research on what they want, what needs to be done for a company, and then getting that confirmation. And then really sort of determining who we move forward with now and basically prioritizing them. So that's that. Okie dokie. Here's a team. A CPO is Chief Product Officer, so that intersects business design and technology as a product manager. So you're making sure that sometimes you're called the voice of the customer and you're meeting the needs of the user. So so those are the intersecting things, and you can look up more about that. Here's a development team: 3 developers, 2 cybersecurity advisors, so they worked with us previously, 1 technical advisor, and then 1 designer. And then for partnerships, they're more the B2B side. So 1 point insider, 1 account manager. And we have 1 marketing lead who will then lead those Google Ad Grants. And the interns, so we have applications received. I just got a new one today. These are all product managers in different sort of types. So product managers get in the private sector, at least about 100,000 or more. Maybe it's also the same for Government of Canada. I think it depends. There's different pay levels. And you need about 3 to 5 years of experience. So most transfer from a business analyst into a product manager. So these are professionals. Some work at banks. Some are business analysts. Some come from product design, and they're basically trying to build a portfolio in their experience. And so there's different sort of types that you can be, or sort of specializations. So for us, the specializations were cybersecurity, data, and then not junior, data, and then marketing. So those are the types. And then a product lead, someone actually would lead the team. And then some, we then sort of dedicated to junior product managers. Yeah. And then we have from marketing, community manager. So there'll be, when we have a community, so they'll be assisting with, the partnerships and whatnot. Chatting with folks, and then marketing, which is really the product marketing managers. And then we have a partnership with Arizona ASU, Arizona State University. And so minimum of 2, high of 6, I think it's about 5 actually. So we're actually determining what they should build. We're pretty okay, but it's kind of fun to give folks a chance and then put them in a sandbox and to see what fun stuff happens. Okay, cool. Yeah, so that is that. Thank you very much. And I hope this wasn't too long and you found this interesting. Thanks, guys.